11-bit Studios survival strategy games Frostpunk and This War of Mine are both standout examples of games that push players to make hard choices, and the attendees of the 2019 Game Developers Conference in March will get an inside look at how they came together. 11-bit Studios creative director Michael Jaski and art director Marshall will be presenting a design track or call about "I Make Games, Lessons from Frostpunk and This War of Mine." The pair will discuss specific approaches to the creative process and the concepts utilized during the process. They will also show you how to cultivate a specific work culture within a team, and how art and design processes are driven to make games like This War of Mine and Frostpunk. Finally, you should walk away with greater insight into how games are maturing into an influential medium, and learn the techniques used to achieve artistic and design goals. On This War of Mine and Frostpunk, you can find more info about this talk and many more over on GDC 2019 session scheduler. There you can begin to lay out your GDC 2019, which takes place March 18th through the 22nd at the newly renovated Moscone Center in San Francisco. Bring your team to GDC, register a group of 10 or more and save 10% on conference passes. Learn more. For more details on GDC 2019, visit the show's official website, or subscribe to regular updates via Facebook, Twitter, OS. Gamasutra and GDC are sibling organizations under parent company Informa. 18 months ago, we started working on the production of our first independent video game, Bury Me, My Love. If you have not heard of it, it's a text message-based interactive fiction that tells the story of Noah, the Syrian woman who decides to leave her war-torn country. She wants to reach Germany, and she has to make this dangerous journey alone, as her husband Majd cannot come with her. You'll play as Majd, even though he, as a character, has his own personality, and you have to provide Noah with advice and support. All this through text messages, selfies and emojis only. This is what I call a reality-inspired game, a fiction directly derived from real events and, in this case, from interfaces we are used to using. Bury Me, My Love's production was sometimes easy, sometimes a complete mess. We made mistakes, overlooked things, and learned a lot. So I figured I'd share our experience, as it might be useful to others. Keep in mind, it was our first project as indie devs. There's just one thing you should know before I start. In the game, almost every decision you make may have an impact on one or more of the 3 variables that define your state: her romantic relationship with Majd, her money and her morale. For this bit, I will leave money and love out of the equation. They could be the subject of 2 separate articles, and focus on morale only. Let's say I start with a good 60 morale points, as Noah does in the game. Here we go. After reading a very touching article in Le Monde, the journey of a Syrian migrant as told by her WhatsApp conversations, I decide to make a game about how migrants communicate with their loved ones when they are on the road. But obviously, I will not be able to tackle such a delicate topic without getting help from people who know the situation very well. So I get in touch with the Monde's journalist, Lucy Solier. Lucy is not at all familiar with video games, but after I explain what I have in mind in detail, she agrees to introduce me via WhatsApp to Dana, the Syrian woman from the article. Dana is immediately enthusiastic. She thinks a game could be a great medium to tell the stories of people like her. Lucy and Dana accept to be part of our editorial team, and I feel that with their help, we will be able to write a believable story. Murder 5. I get in touch with people I know to ask them whether they do like to join in. Pierre Colbini, a great writer. He knows how to write dialogues that feel genuine and has a former journalist, which is important for this game's topic. Paul Joannon's not XP in game development, and worked at French newspaper liberation until he decided to quit. Quite recently, for the interface design, I'd like to find people who worked on apps before in order to get a WhatsApp look, and I know just the right team for that. Fizz, and the artist, Matt Ducadet, has worked with Paul before, which is definitely a good thing. To my delight, everybody likes the project and wants to be a part of it. Even better, Figs are okay to co-produce it. Murder 5. Figs on TPH have some money to invest in the game, but that will not be enough, so I have to find more elsewhere. There's this thing in France, the Centre National du Cinéma Funds d'Education. It aims help fund. It gives grants to innovative projects, so we apply. The required presentation is a good opportunity to have a clearer project. We define the story, the game design, the tools we will be using, make budget market analysis. But I have to finish the application during a weekend that I had planned to spend with old friends. As I struggle with the weak internet connection, I hear the meeting. Homemade burgers and drinking cold beers without me. Worth it, but still a bit sad. Murder 1. The cover to our very first presentation of the game. Since June, Pierre and I have been gathering documentation and reading a lot of testimonies by migrants who undertook the journey between Syria and Europe. I had read things on the subject before, but digging into it makes me realize how bad the situation is. This is intense, and it also makes me question my position in the project. As a healthy European, living a fairly comfortable life, is it really my place to make this game? That's the thing with reality-inspired games. They basically require you to talk about other people's lives. But as a former journalist, I am familiar with the process. I have learned the importance of finding the right distance with your subject. We are not superheroes with capes. We do not have the pretension to come to the rescue and save migrants from a gloomy fate. Nor are we on that go with an activist agenda. We just want to tell those stories in the form of a video game, for players to acknowledge them, and what they say about the world we live in. As neither Pierre nor I are Syrian refugees, now Rand-made story is going to be a fiction. But to work as a reality-inspired game, it needs to be as truthful and believable as possible. There is a lot of work ahead to achieve that. Murder 3. We got money from the French CNC. They seem to have liked the project and decided to help us. That's a good thing, because now I know we have got enough money to make Bury Me, My Love happen. Of course, we are on a tight budget, and we may have to cut out some of the features we do like to have during the development process. But still, and now that we will have got the CNCS support, we might be able to convince other partners to join in. I immediately think about RT, the European TV channel. They have been investing in games recently, and Mo seems like a perfect fit for them. So I sent them the project. Murder 4. I have a series of WhatsApp chats with Dana. The things she went through, both before leaving Syria and during her journey, are really chilling. Yet, she never complains. She just states the facts and how she faced them. I am really impressed by her, and I start writing now, as a character with her in mind. I'd also ask Dana about how life in Germany is. The people here are really great. She tells me, they treat me nicely, but I will never be fully happy until I know my mother is safe. Her mother still lives in Syria. Morale fire. Both Pierre and I start writing the game. First, we make a map of all the main routes migrants may take between Syria and Europe. Do you like to give players the possibility to explore both the northern Turkey, Greece, western Europe, and southern Egypt, Libya, Italy routes? But we soon realize that would be too huge a task. So we stick with around 50 locations that appear to be the most visited ones, the northern route, mainly, and trace the actual paths that link them together.